Hey everyone, Patrick from the Monterey Bay Aquarium here. Our colleagues at MBARI are always finding amazing wildlife in the deep sea. And everything they show us at the aquarium is the coolest thing that we've ever seen, but we've always wondered, what are their favorites? So here they are. These are MBARI's top 10 deep sea animals.
I have spent my entire career trying to get people excited about worms because most of the time when people think about worms, they think about the earthworms, and they're not that fun to look at. Tomopterous worms, they do this amazing undulating dance in order to swim around and feed.
The animal is able to swim really rapidly, maneuver very tight turns, and it can stop on a dime by arresting the motion of all of its legs and then reverse direction without changing the direction of its body. And so it's pretty incredible what these small animals are able to do, and no robotic system has been able to replicate it. So they're something we're definitely interested in trying to reverse engineer.
Crassota milsii, when you first look at it, it looks like fireworks are gone off in the evening sky. It is just a gorgeous animal. It's got tentacles that go off in every direction, and then if you disturb it a little bit, it pulls everything in and jets off in a different direction, and it's like it wasn't even there.
It's an animal we see every once in a while. It's not very common. It's a beautiful, tiny little jelly. These rare gems, we get really excited when we see them.
The Pacific viperfish is a great example of many things we notice about deep sea fish. It has long, sharp teeth.
It makes them look fierce, and I think the result is that they are fierce, at least to their prey.
Their teeth are so large and they sit outside of its mouth that it can't actually close its mouth.
These giant teeth are not actually impaling anything. The teeth act like bars on a jail cell to keep the food, say a shrimp, from swimming back out of the mouth.
One of the other types of animals we find in the deep sea is this beautiful squid. And we've given it the name the strawberry squid because when you look at it from the side, it has all these little dots that make it sort of look like a strawberry. It has one big eye and one small eye.
It has one really big eye in order to see the shadows or silhouettes of potential prey against the lighted waters above. Its other eye is small, and it's designed to see pinpoints of bioluminescence. It's bizarre to us because they seem ill-suited to survival in our world, but in the deep sea, they're perfectly well adapted.
Feather stars are these animals that are related to sea stars, and they live on the sea floor.
They look like a flower that can't move, but then all of a sudden they'll swim off into the darkness.
I love seeing things swim, and to me, the feather star and the way they swim, it's almost like they're walking through water. It's pretty incredible to watch. Phronema.
They look like a nightmare, but they're really amazing.
Phronema is this amphipod, which is basically like a little shrimp-like animal. And they take another animal, like a salp, they go inside, kill it, eat out the insides, and then lay their eggs in the dead carcass of this animal. It's like the creepiest thing ever.
She's got these big eyes and these big claws, and she looks really scary if she wasn't only, you know, an inch long.
Pompeii worms are one of the most thermotolerant animals in the world. These crazy little fuzzy-wuzzy worms live on hydrothermal vents. It's essentially an underwater volcano with piping hot water coming out of it.
The temperatures can get 200 degrees Celsius. We're talking hot, and the Pompeii worm seems to thrive in these temperatures.
How they do this is they have a fleece-like coating of bacteria that helps protect them from some of the hottest water that comes out of the vents so that they can extract minerals from the vents. And then they extend their gills out into much cooler water, which is how they breathe and extract oxygen out of the water. They do this little dance in between the cooler water and the hotter water, in and out of their tubes. So they're like hot, 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 cool, cool, cool.
Bloody belly comb jelly is one of my personal favorites, and I have to admit I'm a little bit biased because I was fortunate enough to be one of the researchers who described this beautiful animal.
Most animals in the deep sea can't see the color red. And so in order to hide really well, the bloody bellies are this beautiful bright red color.
I think they look like hearts. That's nerdy.
They do. The bloody belly comb jelly has these 8 rows called teen rows, and that's how the animal moves around. The light flickering that you see is light bouncing off of these little hair-like projections on the body of the animal.
They diffract the light into the colors of the rainbow. And so it looks like the most beautiful animal with 8 rows of rainbows moving through the water. Vampire squid is an animal that's captured people's imagination for years. Vampiroteuthis infernalis, the vampire squid from the depths, or the inferno.
For the longest time, we weren't sure what vampire squid actually ate.
I mean, it sounds like kind of a blood sucker, right?
The vampire squid doesn't suck blood. The vampire squid likes to eat poop raining down from the surface. This is how it gets its food.
They stick out this feeding tentacle that captures sinking dead animals and waste that's raining down from near the sea surface. It's gross.
The filaments are sticky. They're kind of like half of a Velcro strip. The vampires drag this filament behind them, collect all kinds of bits and pieces of drifting matter. That's a unique feeding mode that we don't see in any other cephalopods.
Why did this animal get its name vampire squid? We're not actually really sure. It's not nearly as scary as it sounds.
But the vampire squid's a cool name.
Probably the most common question I get is, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen in the deep sea? And I really have to say the barrel eye, because there is no example of a fish that looks like that.
The barrel eye is an amazing fish. When we first came across one alive in its natural habitat, we were really surprised.
The animal's eyes, you might think, are looking forward, those little black dots. But in actuality, the green orbs that are pointed upwards are its eyes. It's covered in this gelatinous sheath, which is completely transparent.
They have this tiny little poochy mouth sticking out in front, and the eyes were looking up. There was no way that the fish could see what it was eating, which always bothered me. What's the point? How does this work?
Our scientists discovered that the eyes can rotate so that it can keep its eye on the prey above it and just rotate and grab the food.
Monterey Bay is the best studied patch of deep ocean on the planet. And yet we're still finding new things every time we go out. It's exciting to think that there's that much more to be discovered in the rest of the world ocean.